Good evening. Happy Election Day. Thank you for being a part of the program on the third day of November, where it's been relatively quiet at the polls, and we're seeing some modest, might be pushing it, voter turnout here in the area. We'll take a look at a few local numbers that I've amassed after voting myself just moments ago. We'll also take a look back at last night's Sayersville City Council meeting and an in-depth discussion around the water for the city of Sayersville, the production thereof, specifically the needed replacement, says Sayersville Water Works commissioners, of one of the two primary water storage tanks the city of Sayersville has, the older of which they say is needing replacement, and there was some discussion that spurred during the meeting, and some other things that we'll, of course, mention from last night's session of the council, and a few other things to discuss, a few announcements and more. Weather-wise, we were flirting with record temperatures throughout the rest of the week. That's up and through the end of Thursday, and we're also talking about a cold front that's going to come after all that, and then put us back down to really where we should be this time of year. This is certainly well above average and well welcomed as well, but some gorgeous weather that will continue on into your Wednesday. We've got 75 tomorrow. We're flirting with 80 on this Thursday, and folks, it's just going to be well, it's not going to be too hard to handle, but it's going to be nearly hot, and some places we may see 80 degrees fall. We'll talk about that and more in just a few moments. And, of course, an impending cold front that is going to give us some showers over the course of the weekend. And then sooner or later, we're going to have to get back to normal, and then where we're headed from this point further weather-wise. Let's talk about the election, and, of course, results will be coming in momentarily across the state, learning of our new governor and other state offices, which have been chosen by Kentucky's voters today. Polls closing at 6, obviously, and for the most part, I don't expect to see any lines at the 6 o'clock hour. As far as the Attorney General's office, their election fraud hotline, it opened at 6 o'clock this morning. It stays open till 7 during today's election. Their latest update forwarded to me was at 3 o'clock this afternoon. At that time, they had received 36 phone calls from various areas of Kentucky, total of 20 counties and 36 complaints. Going through the list, I see Barron, Bell, Boone, Bourbon Christian, Fayette, Franklin, Fulton, Gallatin, Jefferson, Kenton, Laurel, Oldham, Perry, Rowan, Trigg, Wayne, Webster, Whitley, counties all being involved, and Woodford, Rowan, and one of the closest in proximity to us, and all 36 complaint. Jefferson had the most at 10 with some procedural questions and some disrupting of polls. Some general election fraud also reported, and some other things, procedural questions, legal questions, things of that nature, which is most often the case when you have elections with the turnout as we have seen today. Statewide totals still being amassed here locally. I can give you an average what some polls in Magoffin County and Sayersville were running right as of 5 o'clock this evening. I just literally darted down to Ward 2 to vote at the Lloyd M. Hall Community Center, knowing before I went there would probably not be much of a line, and indeed there was not. As for today's ballot, 7 constitutional races, if you will, of course, including Kentucky's governor and many others, most locally a Supreme Court judge race with incumbent Janet Stumbo's race. We'll know more about those tomorrow when we have official votes and tallies. As for now, I can tell you at the 5 o'clock hour, there are 3 precincts in the community center in downtown Sayersville. At Ward 2, 160 out of the nearly 1,000 voters had cast their ballot. Bradley, 134 out of 804, and Ivington, 72 out of 342 voters had cast their ballot. What does that mean? Well, that means in Ward 2, right at exactly 16% voter turnout at the 5 o'clock hour, 16.6% in Bradley, and Ivington running just a bit higher at 21%. Many counties across Kentucky expecting to break the 20% threshold, and other folks also predicting numbers statewide, which would be higher than Governor Beshear's re-election campaign 4 years ago in 2011. Of course, polls close at 6. Anyone in line at that point will be able to remain in line and vote. However, lines are not something that we are expecting, certainly in this part of eastern Kentucky and some of the larger cities. That might be an issue. But for Magoffin County right now, 20% might be a close average at this point, or just a percentage or two under for the county as a whole. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. The Sagersville City Council met last evening. Their regular and a special session meeting that was set for the month of October, both postponed until last night's date. David Gardner, Sagersville Waterworks Commissioner, was there with a presentation in relation to a resolution to allow the water commissioners, via their superintendent, to solicit funding from the Kentucky Infrastructure Authority for replacement of the Church Street water tank that Gardner says is in a failing circumstance and that has been repaired numerous times, welded and lined over the years, and that the commission is also determined needs to be replaced. This was the discussion following his request for that resolution. The city of Sagersville has two large water storage tanks, the newer and most recent on the Belzy Conley property, constructed in the last 10 to 12 to maybe 15 years or so, I think closer to 10. The other is the one that has stood over Sagersville for quite some time and many years on Church Street by the Catholic Church.
The plan that we're proceeding with is a two-phase plan. First part of it would be, the cost of it would be $50,000, and that would include a hydrologic study of the system and the design on the tank itself. The hydrologic study of the system is to determine the best location of a new tank. This one's always been here, but we want to determine where actually the best location is. The preliminary indications is that this is not the best location, but it might be up next to the other tank up on the county property up there. So anyway, KIA now requires that the resolution that y'all are presented with come from the city council, the unit of government, and that before we can proceed. The $50,000, the first phase is for, like I said, for hydrologic study and for design of the tank. Then we would be given priority for funding, and I'm thinking, is it $700,000 more for funding from KIA, and KIA is Kentucky Infrastructure Authority, to actually build the tank, put the tank in place. The way that is expected to work is that because we're the economic circumstances of the community are such that they can loan us that money and then a portion of it be forgiven, and that's all to be seen. But how much it would be, but it's generally anticipated to be about 20% forgiven, so it'd be granted. The low interest is 0.75, so it's basically no interest money. The commission believes that the circumstances of the tank are such that we need to move forward with it and get it done. So that's what I'm here to ask y'all to pass this resolution, which allows us to move forward.
And the second phase of that, David, is the replacement of the tank. Is that correct?
That's correct, Jeff. The first part of the money is for this year would be the $50,000. That's the study and the design, and then next year the funding for the tank itself, the replacement of the tank.
This resolution says for the purpose of safe drinking water. Do you drink the water?
Do I drink the water?
Yeah.
Yes, sir, I do.
How many of this room drinks the city water? 3, 4, 5.
You know, Tommy, the regulatory entities of state obviously believe that the water is safe for human consumption, or else we wouldn't be able to continue.
It may be certain times of the year, but not all the time.
No.
Last say since we've been mayor, we've changed the plan, updated it. We've never had no problem with water. Even during when the leaves fall and all that, we had to put more chemicals.
You know, Tom, I can't tell you about your individual taste. You could choose not to like it, but I drink it and I like it, and you know, I think it's much improved over what it has been in the past. So, I do know this, that if you drink bottled water, you're paying somewhere around $1,000 more than if you, somewhere around 1,000% more.
Well, why has the city
Then
hall
if you
took its
just-
water fountain out? Why has the waterworks took its water fountain out?
I
And they used to all have water fountains. I used to have one, and I took it out.
can't tell you that, I have no idea. I don't know. I didn't take it out, so I have no idea why they would have.
This one wouldn't work if we took it out.
Why can't you just repair it for what damage is done now to it instead of waiting until it rots down?
You talking about the tank now?
Yes, I'm talking about the
It's
tank.
been repaired, Dave, how many times? I think it's,
We think that, Tommy, we think that it's been repaired before, it's been lined before, and we think that it's the fiscally responsible thing to replace it. That repairing it is not the best answer. Peter, I don't know the answer to your question as far as if this is a first resolution or second, or I don't know if we gotta come back. I don't know the answer. I'm assuming that we will come back.
okay. Well,
Well, I'd say let's table it till you find out which one it is.
That's your prerogative. I would prefer you didn't, and that the funding is available to us currently for the study. And we don't know if it'll be available later.
Jeff made a motion to accept the resolution or do it, so. He made it before you did, so. Do I hear a second on Jeff Bates to approve the resolution for the KIA to clerk?
I second it.
Mary Ann seconds it. Any more discussion on it?
I wanna say this, I go to these meetings all the time, and I think we've got
I'll tell you what each tank up.
a great
Chemicals.
commission board up there. And I know they've been studying that, they've looked at these tanks, and I do know that tank's been repaired many different times, because I was there when it was done a lot. And I think they're just doing what's better for everybody here. And going back to the water fountain situations, I don't know this, but don't the schools still have water fountains in them, and the medical centers and places, and I think it's very needful, and I think
Well, I
the
remember
water
when
is
the
much
city sent
better.
letters out saying the water wasn't fit to drink.
They ain't sent out since we had the plant done.
It's much better.
The only time they're sent out now is when
Is
they have
it
a
not
water
coming
leak.
from the same place?
Yeah.
Still coming out of the river?
We spent $500,000 on that plant up there to bring it up to date. Back when, right after the tornado, Hal Rogers brought us a gift for $500,000, and plus we had some more money too that was given to us. And the whole inside of that plant, except for one thing, has been renovated.
The chemicals are much safer now.
And we changed over the chlorine from, what was it, Dave, the dangerous one to the one that's not dangerous.
It was gas, now it's powder.
Now it's powder, so there's no health hazard if the tank busts or nothing like before. They was afraid it was poisoning everybody at the middle school.
What do you think's been eating the tank up there, the water or the chemicals?
Age,
Well, you know, I understand that too, but,
age.
yeah.
So, all in favor of accepting or granting resolution to the water plant, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No,
Say anything?
I think it can be repaired a little longer.
Do I?
Did you say anything? What did you say?
I'll sustain.
Sustain, all right. 3 ayes, sustain, and no.
Gardner also said the next project they will be working on was bulk purchase of grinder pumps to replace all those, I think it is 320 units that are used throughout several Sagersville and McGoffin County households that are reaching the end of their life expectancy, if you will, and the cost to repair and the cost to replace being about the same. They're going to look at repurchasing new units. Also discussion about the business license ordinance for the city of Sagersville that was tabled till the next meeting. Council gave Mayor Shepherd permission to find a new auditor for the city of Sagersville, as the current company stated they no longer had the manpower for the operations. The mayor mentioned that he purchased a pickup truck for the street department at an $11,000 value or purchase. Also, he mentioned that the loan had matured on the lot across from the city hall building, and the council gave the mayor permission to see about negotiating a newer, lower interest rate on that lot. That, of course, is the same lot that Senator Smith, Speaker Greg Stumbo, McGoffin County Judge Executive Charles Hardin all vowed to find the purchase money of more than $250,000 to buy it from the city to give to the McGoffin County Library Board for the construction of a new library. That, of course, in limbo pending the seating of new library board members. We'll be talking about that in a separate story in a day or two. They also discussed annexing the Joy Global building, the Continental Conveyor building formerly, and then, of course, Joy Global until they closed their doors just days ago, was not in the city limits per an agreement, I believe it was, to bring the industry to McGoffin County for a tax incentive purpose, if I'm not mistaken. And since the Joy has closed and that facility, of course, now stands shuttered, the city says that it was time to look at annexing that into the city of Sagersville in the event they are able to attract some new industry to that area. A few things on tonight's community calendar. A couple of announcements that I have just in and not just up on the TV screen. The Kearney Free Will Baptist Church is picking and a grinning. They're back at it this Saturday. Pastor Butch Whitaker invites everyone to attend. They'll start at 7 p.m. And the Tones of Faith singers, I'm told, will be singing at the Community Free Will Baptist Church. They're a couple of miles out of Sagersville on Route 40 this Sunday, beginning at 11. Come and join them for a great time. That is going to be a great time with the Lord. A soup bean dinner afterwards. Pastor Matt Cottle welcomes all. And for other announcements, a couple of reminders, followed by a couple of birthday wishes. Birthday wishes, indeed, all brought to you by McGoffin Farm Bureau. First, a happy 23rd to Santana Bailey with a whole lot of love from Mom, Dad, RJ, Uncle CM, Danny, and Aunt Julie. Happy birthday, Santana. Happy 23rd birthday to you. And I've got birthday wishes tonight to Charlotte Reisner with a whole lot of love from Hope and Corey. Happy birthday, Charlotte. A reminder about tomorrow's Healthy Holiday Series cooking class. Tomorrow's is at the McGoffin County Extension Office. It is at noon. They're focusing on a whole lot of varieties of cooking, whether it be entrees and appetizers and dips and so much more. And they've only got a couple left. Tomorrow's is at noon at the McGoffin County Extension Office. Call in the morning if you have any questions, 349-3216. Don't forget about the annual coat drive, part of their shoebox giveaway for Christmas at the Mount Sinai Church of God. They're taking coats and scarves and hats and gloves and baby blankets and much more to help folks keep a little extra warm through the holidays, certainly. And you can drop those off at DNR Clothing across from the Sagersville Speedway or call 349-2835 if you have some items that you would like to give. And don't forget, this coming Monday, the next blood drive for McGoffin County, the community blood drive set for 12:30 to 5 at the Highlands After Hours building behind the Sagersville Subway. That's where you'll find the Kentucky Blood Center Blood Mobile next Monday starting at noon 30, going till 5. And this is where for 17? Is that right? Many years you have found our community calendar. Gosh, have mercy. Since 1998 in November of that year. So we are, you know what? Okay, now this is just how prepared I am, folks. Here we go. I'm just telling you this just completely out of the blue. I'm going to share this with you real quick about how many years our community calendar has been around. And my goodness, with everything that's happened in the last few weeks and days and with all the news and everything else that's going on, yesterday, November the 2nd of 1998. So yesterday, indeed, our anniversary. So yeah, 17. This is totally catching me off guard, and I'm sure this is pretty obvious that it is. So as of yesterday, yeah, we have officially been here for 17 years. And this past year has been the largest year of growth that we have ever had. More viewers. We have the numbers telling us that so many more people are watching. Our sponsorship has remained steady and true. And I am forever grateful that you still invite me into your homes. And I continue to work as hard as possible every single day to make sure that we get as much content, local content and news and information on this program as humanly possible, realizing that I am quite often only one human, and with that comes with limitations. But nevertheless, I want to thank you completely from the bottom of my heart for being a part of the program for now, and I can't believe I nearly missed that. 17 years. Anyway, if you have calendar announcements, now that my rambling is over, this is how you get them on the program. And remember, you can catch programming the following day on yournewstoday.com. Now, the website also, we had some issues with our host, and all of last week I had trouble getting it unloaded. As of today, everything is on yournewstoday.com. Yesterday's show has just been uploaded and will continue to do so on a daily basis. So be sure and check on the website if you need to see something you missed or need to see something again that you've seen here on the program. With that said, all of that said, I do have one funeral announcement. And with it, I have to say how heartbroken we are that such close friends of ours have lost such a mainstay and rock of their family, as they have so very well put it. Harold Ray Poe passed away earlier today after a very brief illness and unexpectedly. Arrangements are being made in his honor. We expect those to be announced on tomorrow's program, but we do know that the family, of course, is in mourning after losing their loved one, Harold Ray Poe, who passed away just earlier this morning of dry bread here in Magoffin County. And that's going to leave us with our Licking Valley RECC forecast for this evening. I'm still just almost speechless that I can't believe that I just realized mid-show that yesterday was our 17th year of doing this. And once again, I just don't know how to thank you all enough. I really, really don't. I don't know how to thank Mother Nature enough either for the weather that we have had, way above average, way appreciated. Tonight's low unchanged from 24 hours ago. I think we'll still see 50 degrees, patchy dense fog, and clouds have been on the increase throughout the evening. All of this out ahead of a cold front that is coming, just not tomorrow. 75, fog in the morning, partly sunny skies, a low of 55 tomorrow night. Clouds also on the increase late tomorrow night, making for some beautiful scenery in the skies. I haven't been able to get out of the office in time to see them. Nevertheless, Thursday is going to be, and I have 76 degrees. I'm not going to be surprised if we don't clock a 77, 78, maybe a 79 in some parts of the area on your Thursday. Partly sunny, way above average, and way gorgeous. 59 for the nighttime low. Mostly cloudy skies on Thursday night. Keep that in mind. And that's all out and ahead of a cold front that comes just around the same time the weekend does. The warm air will stick around through Friday. It won't feel quite 74, I don't think, because we're going to have showers likely mainly after 10 a.m. and then continuing. They'll start to pull out mainly before 7 o'clock Friday evening, and temperatures will dip down to about 46. After they do, the cold air will continue to filter in behind, and for Friday, a drastic change in a face of reality. We'll see mostly sunny and 59, back down to near freezing for nighttime lows. We'll have another 59-degree day on the latter half of your weekend, as Sunday pretty much looks ditto temperature-wise. And next week right now, we'll start off, I think, in the low 60s, at least through Monday and Tuesday. And I'm talking 60, 61, 62. Thereafter, well, hard to get a grip on it, but I can tell you I see nothing that looks like yesterday, today, tomorrow, or Thursday in our future. Weather-wise, that is. Of course, tomorrow we'll take a close look at who viewing area voters selected for the various state offices and that of Supreme Court judge. And, of course, other news that you'll only see here. So be sure and tune in. For now, thank you for watching, and have a good election evening.